Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we will discuss disaster management. Key terms in disaster risk management. There has been an increase in the incidence of natural disaster worldwide, with increasing loss of life and damage of property. There are two reasons for an increase in extreme natural disasters, climate change, increased vulnerability of population to these natural events. Key term in disaster risk management. Hazards are extreme natural events that can have adverse consequences. The extent of the hazard depends on its probability with a certain period of time and region and severity of the event. A distinction also needs to draw between a real natural hazard and socio-natural hazard. In case of real natural hazard, people extreme no influence as regards their occurrence, while socio-natural hazards are induced or aggravated by the combination of extreme natural events and human intervention in the nature. Natural hazards can be earthquake, sea quake, floods, storms, forest fires, landsliding, heat and cold waves, tsunami. Hazard posed by pure natural phenomena. Hazard posed due to human intervention. As a disaster is a disruption in the normal functioning of a society which leads to loss of human life, property, and environmental resources, and which exceed the ability of the affected community to cope using its own resources. Disasters are of two types: sudden and slow onset disaster. Among natural disasters, extreme drought are the only ones that are slow onset by nature. Not every extreme natural event is a disaster. A volcanic eruption in an unoccupied area is natural event, not but a disaster. Vulnerability denotes the inadequate means or ability to protect oneself against the adverse impact of external events on one hand, and on the other hand to recover quick from the effects of the natural events. The main vulnerability factors are summarized as: when legislation is lacking, regional development and land use planning, building regulation. This is the political institutional factors. Economic factor. Government financial resources are insufficient for disaster risk management, flood protection, infrastructure. Lack of awareness towards disaster risk management. Disaster risk designate the extent of the damage and loss a natural event is expected to cause. It is determined as the production of the factor hazard and vulnerability. Disaster risk management or disaster risk reduction. Disaster risk management comprises action program, project, and measures and instruments whose intended impact are expressly aimed at reducing disaster risk in endangered regions and mitigating the extent of disaster. Disaster risk management is the generic term for the operational area like risk assessment, disaster prevention, and disaster preparedness. Risk assessment. Risk analysis. It includes registering past disaster and major natural events. Studies including specific geological and climate hazards and their causes in the natural and regional setting. Survey of the endangered population by gender and vulnerability. Participatory preparation and updating of hazard map and vulnerability profiles. Disaster prevention and medications donates activities that prevent and mitigate the adverse effect of extreme natural events in medium and long term. These includes on one hand political, legal, administrative and infrastructure measures to address the hazard situation and on the other hand influencing of lifestyle and behavior of the endangered population in order to reduce their disaster risk. It includes setting and enforcing regional development and land use plans, building supervision plans, zoning ordinance and building regulations. Training the populations and representatives of the concerned institutions. Building up strengthening local and natural disaster risk management capabilities includes clear responsibilities, sustainable resource management, improving infrastructure, dams, embankment, more stable building, better capable of withstanding a disaster. Disaster preparedness. Participatory drafting of emergency plan, infrastructure measures, emergency accommodations, carry out disaster preparedness exercise, building up strengthening local and national preparedness capabilities and rescue service, coordination and deployment planning. Coordination and deployment planning, early warning system, setting up an operating communication system, delivery of technical equipment and operator trainings. Disaster risk management as a part of rehabilitation and reconstruction, conducting risk assessment, infrastructure, earthquake resistant or flood proof construction methods, developing scheme and shelters, institutional setup, democratic roles and improving cooperation among individual actors, strengthening local capabilities, developing and promoting measures for future prevention, watershed management, resource conservation, flood protection schemes. Mainstreaming in development cooperation sector. Prevention needs to be integrated into development cooperation sector that are very vulnerable for capable of contributing to improve DRM. Particularly eligible sectors include decentralized or community development, rural development, environmental protection and resource conservation, housing, health and education. Early warning system. Early warning systems are designed to ensure that endangered populations, relevant and national actors receive accurate and timely information. Early warning system is comparatively easy in case of floods in higher lying area of upper reach or river. Rainfall and water level are monitored continuously. These measurements are conveyed by radio or other means of communication to a base for evaluation. Based on the risk assessment, this center can then judge whether, where, and when flood may occur. Personnel then assume a state of readiness and the endangered inhabitant can then perform specific tasks as allocated in the disaster preparedness plan. Early warning system also exists for flood carries due to drought or for a volcano. However, early warning systems are not appropriate for all types of hazard. This is why special importance must be attached to permanent readiness in case of sudden events such as earthquake. Raising awareness among population lying to risk area of the hazard and vulnerabilities. Implementing appropriate early warning system. Participation of the population, the municipal administration and other relevant institutions in all phases of DRM. Strengthening local disaster risk capability, which are considered as the cornerstone for effective DRM. The establishment and the strengthening of a local system mobilizing all possible social and political actors at the municipal level and getting them to shoulder responsibility in the process. This is the end of the session. Please subscribe my channel and press the bell icon for next video. Please